Next up for us, Arizona Cardinals at Jacksonville Jaguars. Cardinals open up 2-0, 1-0 on the road. Jaguars open up 0-2, 0-1 at home. And we have these Jaguars opening up as 7-point dogs. Let's move to 7.5. The total here is at 52 right across the board. 52 across the board. From a cash standpoint, we have 9,293 tickets in. 90% of the tickets, 94% of the cash on Arizona. 64% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the over. Interesting. So all that money is only moved to the half point, and all that money on the over has done nothing. Cardinals coming off a wild 34-33 win at home over the Vikings. Kyler Murray, 29-36, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He looked so dangerous at times and made some questionable mistakes in other times. Rondale Moore caught 7 passes for 114 yards and a touchdown. Max Williams, 7 catches for 94 yards. Chase Edmonds ran 8 times for 46 yards. And they were very fortunate when push came to shove. And this defense that was highly thought or talked about a lot in the offseason, I shouldn't say too highly thought of, but talked about a lot, really did not look good. And they were saved by the curse of Minnesota Vikings kickers. Cornerback Marco Wilson with an ankle injury. Right tackle Kelvin Beachum with a rib injury. Both left the game at this point. I'll pull up the injury report for them, but I don't believe Beachum's day-to-day. Wilson, questionable day-to-day. Devin Kennard, linebacker, questionable. But this is a pretty healthy squad. Jaguars come in off a 23-13 home loss to the Broncos, 17th straight loss. Trevor Lawrence, 14-33 for 118 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. With a scripted drive, he opens the game and looks great. 83-yard drive, 25-yard pass to Marvin Jones. And then he manages – the Jacksonville Jaguars manage 106 yards the rest of the game. It's the first time since the final game in 2018 that they finished with fewer than 200 yards of offense, just the 19th time in franchise history. Marvin Jones caught 6 passes for 55 yards in the touchdown. James Robinson got to be RB1, 11 carries for 47 yards. They lose tight end James O'Shaughnessy to an ankle injury, cornerback TJ Henderson to a hip injury, right guard AJ Can to a hamstring injury. Cardinals, Jaguars, Bebsie, take it away.
Listen, I said I wasn't sold on the Cardinals, and I'm still not. They should have lost that game. Look, Kyler Murray is looking great, but he looked great at the start of last year when he's completely healthy. I feel like his game drops off heavily when he's taken some clips. Like he is still such a small guy. But right now is when you want to back him, when he's healthy, when he's feeling good. And I don't want to back the Jags because of Urban Meyer. I mean, Urban Meyer, okay, he came out with a great opening drive, but he really doesn't seem to have a game plan. This is college. You don't have Ohio State's roster anymore. And he's just doing an abysmal job right now. So I want to take the Jags with all those points because I do not think that Arizona is that great, but it's really hard to bet on the Jags with Urban Meyer right now. He just looks lost in the NFL, as many predicted he would.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Interesting points coming in. Dennis Garcia says Arizona can score 35. Jacksonville can get at least 20. And they're probably capable of getting garbage time scores. What do you think of this total? I find it very interesting that Pinnacle's about to move it to 51.5 when it looks like all the early money's coming in on the over. I guess they think that Jacksonville's going to have a tough time scoring. And then Kyler Murray off of that wild and crazy game, there's a recency bias with people thinking of offense with them. And then after throwing 2 interceptions, he'll play clean and conservative and not make mistakes. What do you think of this total of 52?
You think Kyler Murray will play conservative?
I do. I thought that he was a little out of control at times against the Vikings, and those 2 picks were very costly.
Yeah, well, he definitely faced more of a threat with the Vikings and Danielle Hunter. I don't know. This Jags defense doesn't have an identity. They really don't. Their best corner was on the trade block this summer. Should we just blindly bet Lawrence INT for the rest of the season? I'm gonna put that yeah, I don't hate that look. That's it certainly looks at 5 touchdowns in 2 games like he's gonna struggle. But the only way I see this getting to an over is if the Jags get a bunch of garbage time points. Because I don't see the Jags running with them. Trevor Lawrence, 5 INTs so far, not looking great. Slats team total over 30.5. I could possibly get behind that. That's not a bad look at all, Slats.
I think the Cardinals just beat up on this Jaguar team. I mean, I wish I got the 7, but
I'd be more inclined to take a Arizona team total over than I would be any other pick in this.
It's going to be so public. It's just an already 90% of tickets, 94% of cash. Burgundy Bet says, who the hell would bet the Jags here? All the cash has to be on Arizona. Vipers on the Cards team total over with Slatsy. I don't know. Those scare me a bit when you play the worst team in the league because there's no reason to take risks. There's no reason to go for the big score.
But that's this Cliff Kingsbury air raid offense. That's what it's supposed to be.
But we know that they're only throwing 55, 65% of the time, at least last year, which doesn't qualify as a real air raid offense.
No, of course not, because Cliff Kingsbury's full of shit.
Interesting, and James David Weiss-Koken says West-East travel will give Arizona a slow start. And Viper says being square gets you paid at times. It feels like it's just a full game that Arizona will cover the 7.5, but I'm certainly not going to double up first half full game, even though I don't doubt it. I think I've got to be square and move on the Cardinals here. I think Jacksonville Jaguars are a garbage fire. So
I personally don't think Urban Meyer lasts the full season before they move on from him.
Do you have any interest in moving on this?
No, I'm staying off of this. I like Slats' look on the team total over.